Wow, what a series of events here over the past 48 hours. I think top of the list, first and foremost, uh, we definitely owe a little bit of an apology, or a big apology, to BitBoy, who we said on our last show, Sam Bankman-Fried did better on net than BitBoy just about 24 hours before we find an $8 billion hole in Sam Bankman-Fried's balance sheet at FTX. So, got to bite my tongue on that one. That was my bad. So, BitBoy, I don't even know if you watched this shit, but I'm sorry. I think that we spoke too soon.
No, he definitely watches. We saw the comment. I love BitBoy. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, we fucked up on that one, man.
The lunar moon. We talked about the lunar eclipse last time. And guess what? Luna actually blew up. Luna blew up on the last lunar eclipse. Alameda and FTX blows up on this lunar eclipse. Like, what's next?
Oh, my God. Well, you and I had a conversation about, our own past of, founding this company a few years ago and where we've gotten to. And the takeaway was we need to stay humble. And part of that humbleness is we got to eat some humble pie right now. Got the call wrong. BitBoy, our bad. Now, what of BitBoy's predictions are going to come true next? That's the real topic of conversation. He's made a lot of predictions, ruffled a lot of feathers. What else does he write about that the public hasn't caught on yet? We're going to have
maybe with him directly
sometime pretty soon.
But I mean, I thought it was a freaking bombshell that Binance came out and they said, "Hey, we're gonna acquire FTX. It's gonna be all good. We're gonna look at their balance sheet. We're gonna do some due diligence." After that moment, FTT went from $15 all the way up to $22, and then it shot all the way back down past $8. I think it's trading at $4 now. And a lot of these new revelations that came out today was that Binance said, we kind of opened up the kimono. We looked behind the curtain. We did not like what we saw. We ain't touching it with a 10-foot pole. So that means FTX.com and FTX International users and customers, they're going to have their funds locked up Mt. Gox style, irretrievable for an undisclosed amount of time. I think net, that's a bad look for SBF. That's $8 billion. I don't think BitBoy can even do that bad if he tried.
Truthfully, this is a huge shit stain on our own industry.
And a lot of
I mean, Sam's the guy who's talking in front of Congress without his shoes tied, and now he's losing off. Here's what I don't understand, okay? For those of us who are in this industry all the time, we look at Alameda and FTX as like the golden boys because they've got a setup where they can't lose. Alameda's the market maker. You've got FTX is the venture capital, and it's a symbiotic relationship that just generates billions and billions in cash. They've got the FTX, the exchange, seeing the order flow where they can feed to Alameda. Like it's a can't lose situation. And if they ever need more liquidity, they're pulling it from Maple Finance, they're pulling it from Galaxy, they're pulling it from TrueFi, by the tens of millions at a time for whatever they need to do. How do you still? And they're smart. They're super smart. How do you still lose? And lose so bad you have to use customer funds and then fuck it up again. That is unconscionably stupid and unlikely and super unlikely. Like they were on our safe exchange list. Some of the smartest people we know in the space, highly ethical, kept their funds there, recommended them to every other fund in the world as one of the few safe things in crypto, and that still collapsed in on us. So if that doesn't highlight the risk around being in this industry, and when we tell you, stay safe, manage your risk, don't go all in on anything, or if we say something else is like especially too high risk, just look at what's happening to the safe stuff.
It's just so sad because he was representing the industry on Capitol Hill, and apparently, like SBF was saying, like BitBoy was saying about SBF, was that he's the devil incarnate, right? Like he's lobbying behind our back and we don't even know it. And then CZ comes out and kind of says the same thing in a different way and is like, yeah, Sam Bankman-Fried looks good on the outside, but he's lobbying against the DeFi industry and the crypto industry in Washington. And there's all these pictures of Sam Bankman-Fried with all these, Democratic congressmen and senators and stuff. And who knows what was really going on, but he's got a big uphill battle. It was even enough. This sort of collapse in Sam Bankman-Fried was enough to get Su Zhu out of hiding. I don't know if you saw that. Su Zhu had his first tweet since like June. And now it's like, hey, somebody else bigger than me collapsed, so I guess I could come back out now and start talking because now there's a worse villain, which I thought was pretty interesting, seeing Su Zhu back out there. But like you said, I mean, what were they doing with these customer deposits? Was FTX taking the customer deposits and loaning them out to get a yield? Was there some type of asset management agreement with Alameda that said, hey, we get daily liquidity and you're going to give us this sort of, income on our assets? It's just insane to think about, because also Sam Bankman-Fried came out and tweeted that 1-for-1 assets are backed on FTX International. A day later, he deleted that tweet. He deleted it.
Deleted those tweets.
You saw him, he deleted it. So what does that say?
Crazy.
To me, this just says that there was some nefarious, under the table deals that were occurring with customer funds, and they're going to be, unfortunately, working for years to get this all resolved.
Question from the average consumer: FTX and Alameda are separate entities, but they were like that. They're both Sam's babies, right? So how does that work?
Sam like divested apparently from Alameda and gave over his managing sort of directorship to Sam Trabucco. Sam Trabucco left and gave it over to Caroline. And so the image was that Sam Bankman-Fried had no sort of daily sort of role and responsibility at Alameda anymore, that it was just FTX. And he tried to make that very clear. He was just the founder who's now left and moved on to other projects. But it still seems like there was some level of being intertwined that is now coming to a head. And we're going to find out what sort of dirty laundry they were stuffing under their bed.
Man, that's crazy. I've screwed up a lot of things in my life, but never anything that bad. That's
just off the wire here. FTX suspends all onboardings of new clients, warns against depositing.
Yeah,
so not breaking news, but
and I don't know if you guys saw this one. I'll do a quick screen share here. Sam Bankman-Fried, co-founder, chief executive, FTX, right here. Everybody knows him. He lost $15 billion in net worth in one day. He used to be worth 15 billion. Now he's worth under $1 billion. And that's a bad day. That's a sad day.
So basically all of his net worth now is just in his Robinhood stocks, which is hilariously ironic.
Yeah. And I also saw Robinhood fell 8 or 10% or something on the day on the sort of, what's it called? Suspicions that he's going to have to sell all that in order to not be bankrupt. I'm also hearing he's filing for bankruptcy as we speak. Again, that's just a rumor, but I would not be surprised because he said that if he doesn't get funding for FTX, bankruptcy is the only other option. So to me, this is bad. This is a bad day.
This is really bad, but bad goes to worse because there's a contagion risk here. Who do they owe money to that's not going to get paid now? For two of them, Voyager and BlockFi have huge debts that are owed by Alameda that probably aren't going to come due now. And who else in the industry? There's rumors they still owe hundreds of millions to Galaxy, which has already taken $1 billion hit in the Luna fiasco. They were huge borrowers from Maple and TrueFi. No word on if they have any outstanding balances there or not. What other major funds have been using FTX? Just about all of them. So what's happened there? We still have to unravel that.
Isn't it crazy that
one thing for everyone else, like who's into retail right now, like, okay, FTX blew up. Why does that impact Solana? Why did that impact Ethereum? Why did that impact Bitcoin? All these other projects and exchanges that had nothing to do with this. Why is it all going down at the same time? Well, because Alameda Research is a market maker on most of the major exchanges. And when all their liquidity is dried up, everyone is basically just in a panic to get out into cash until the dust settles. So even though it has nothing to do with it, there's levels of degrees of separation, and also a lot of giant funds and market makers just run off these risk algorithms. So even though there's nothing particularly wrong with this asset or that asset or this project, which was doing perfectly fine 3 days ago, because of risk.
And I think that's also because people saw Alameda's balance sheet, right? They saw Alameda's balance sheet that it had so many loans that were denominated in FTT or leveraged Solana and all this kind of stuff, that once that they kind of got margin called, they were going to have to sell those assets. And so, like you said, there's that contagion risk, but also there's another thing that you only just mentioned and really just touched on, but it's the bailout of like Voyager and Celsius. Like, I know that they were bidding on those assets and that they had come to some level of bailout for those customers. Now FTX needs a bailout. So what happens in this scenario? I mean, Pete, you and I have been in this industry now for about 7 years each, and I've never seen anything like this. I mean, this is an unprecedented sort of day. A lot of the figures on crypto Twitter that I'm following and excited about have said that this is the saddest day in crypto because so many people trusted FTX, so many people believed in them, and people would recommend the platform to friends and family and all that kind of stuff. And so there was a big degree of trust that was lost, and it's really crypto yet again losing its innocence, because if we go back to the first principles and the basics, right, the foundational reasons that crypto exists, that Satoshi Nakamoto invented Bitcoin, was because you didn't want to have to trust an intermediary with your money, right? Nobody's going to take care of your money like you take care of your money. And so enter the blockchain, where you could see where your balance is at all times, and you're the only one who can control that balance, right? Now, when you give it over to an exchange, they take that balance and they could say they're going to do nothing with it and it's going to be your balance, but behind the scenes, they rehypothecate it, meaning they're lending it out or they're doing funky shit with it. And you just have to trust that they're not doing it. And so many people trusted them at their word, but they went against their word. And to me, that's fraud. And to me, that's, going to be a long, long court trial to see what, why they were representing one thing and doing the other thing. And it's going to be another impetus or catalyst to get people to remember, take your coins off exchanges, put them in your cold storage, put them in your hardware wallet, do it in a safe, non-custodial manner where you control your keys.
Yeah. I'm at Token 2049 in London right now, and it is beyond sold out. There's side events that are beyond sold out. The interest in crypto has never been higher. There's tons of people here from traditional finance looking to make their first bets, brand new hedge funds opening up, trying to figure out strategies. And this was a topic that was on everyone's mind. I ran into Josh Frank from the tie over here and was very happy to see him, but he had a sad look on his face like I've never seen before. Like a piece of his innocence was lost in all this, because FTT is something that he believed in and he recommended, and he believed in Sam Bankman-Fried, as did I. FTT was one of the only exchange tokens that I would ever recommend to anyone, and though I was holding myself, because I thought, if anything is going to be around in 10 years, surely this one will. And they've got all the means and tokenomic design to pump this thing to the sky. And the sky fell like a freaking meteor today. But the panels that I was watching at were talking about DeFi regulation. And people said, regulation is a good thing if the rules are right. The only problem is the rules being proposed by the government is absolutely nonsense right now. They're asking for more KYC instead of proof of reserves from these exchanges. So when we have rules that make sense, that actually make the industry better, we're all for it. but it can't just be
proof of reserves is definitely something that all the exchanges need to at least ascribe to and come to some sort of level of standard agreement so that they can say, okay, here's all of our cold wallets and, here's all of our hot wallets and here's customer funds. And it's all backed one for one. And that way we can never have another issue like this, because this was the Lehman Brothers of crypto.
Right. And I don't know if you saw it, but CZ sent a memo out, an internal memo, which he then published, talking to his employees at Binance saying, this is not a good thing. Don't praise a competitor falling. This is bad for the industry. We had no plan for this to happen. But what we're going to do is we're going to react to this in a positive way, and we're going to be industry leaders in providing more transparency, including proof of reserves, and making sure that nothing like this can ever happen again.
And hey, when CZ said this isn't a fight between me and SBF, I think he was serious. He knew that, this was not a fight. This was a surrender, if you will. Man, crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do we handle this in a situation where 50 to 60 or even 80% of our net worth drops again in a day? One of the things I've been telling people around the conferences and parties, like I said, I was waiting for one more big shakeout, like one more just solid bash right in the balls that makes everyone really, really feel that max pain.
Yeah.
And I think this is it. Like, this has got to be it. This doesn't shake some people out and scare some people out. Nothing else will. Everyone left is going to be the hardened, convicted of crypto. And we've seen this shakeout now finally in these prices. But there will be a rebound. I don't know if it'll be today, tomorrow, next week, next month. But I feel a lot more confident saying that the bottom is about to be in than I did a few weeks ago. And this follows the same pattern as the last bull market, almost exactly to a T. So we could see some more sideways action as Bitcoin, finally settles in around that 13K level for a little while. People get a chance to accumulate at the price of a lifetime for some of these amazing altcoins that are at the prices that they were, 3-4 years ago. So for everyone who got in last year and were saying, oh man, I wish I could have got in at these amazing prices that everyone else did, and you're green with envy, hopefully you're green with cash right now, because this is your second chance. And as far as risk management goes, wait until the dust settles. You don't need to buy today. Just simply wait around for a little bit, wait for things to start going sideways again and accumulate. And you've got your blue chips, your top caps, things with hundreds of developers and thousands of projects on it. You don't need to go into the thousands in CoinGecko and try and find $1 million market cap.
I think the
100x right now. Just pick something.
Yeah, man. The main thing that I kind of take away from all this and want to close it out on is you got to stay diversified, right? And you got to survive. And that is the key to survival in markets, is diversification. I'm not talking just diversify the kinds of coins you hold. No, I'm talking about diversify that, but where you hold the coins, what methods you use, what wallets you use, what exchanges you use, what asset classes you invest in, right? You shouldn't just be all in on crypto. You should have assets outside of crypto. And so it really comes back to making sure that there's no single point of failure for yourself and no way that you can completely get kneecapped, because technology, all this stuff, markets, it's out of our control. So the best thing you could do is manage your risk around it. And the best way to do that is through diversification on every level. But that's kind of my thoughts from how we move forward from this catastrophe that is FTX, third largest exchange by volume, coming to a close. Sad day.
Yeah. Tebow, is there anything else that we missed from a guy who's just entering the space like yourself? What should we address that we haven't said already?
Oh man.
Are you okay over there?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough when you're just getting excited and learning about all this stuff, and then it's just a negative black cloud, like you said. No, I think you guys covered it. It's sad to see like how big it got with FTX has the arena, right? Like Tom Brady, and Tom Brady is a personal endorser. Like, I'm a big Tom Brady guy from that's my dad and I are from Boston area, so grew up with him. Every Friday he posts this poster, and it's his like TB Times. It's like a newspaper thing, and it's sponsored by FTX. Like FTX was like cultural for this. And somebody's that's not as deep as you guys, 7 years. So it is shocking. But no, Bryce nailed it. You got to diversify. If you're looking to invest, you got to know the risks. And, you know, if you're all in one thing or anything, if it's all or nothing, it's usually not going to be too good.
Yeah. We don't wish failure on anyone. So it's definitely a sad day, but we're going to still be here along with so many others in this crypto space that are holding true and following the mission of financial inclusion, transparency, and changing the world for the better. So we got one more bad actor out of the space, which means a brighter days ahead for
Carry on,
else.
ladies and gentlemen. Carry on.